The bill needs statutory construction guidance. Have you seen this type of a sentence in a California bill or in a statute? This act shall be liberally construed to effectuate its purposes. Now, why is this particular phrase needed? Shouldn't that be obvious guidance to a court when interpreting a statute? In brief research that I did, I found at least 225 code sections that contain this particular phrase out of about 156,000 statutes in California's 29 codes. So, although it's not commonly used in California laws, it actually needed. According to California state courts, quote, the fundamental rule of statutory construction is that a court should ascertain the intent of the legislature so as to effectuate the purpose of the law. This was the Court of Appeal in 2003 in Upland Police Officers Association versus the City of Upland. The court went on to say we must construe the statute with a view to promoting rather than defeating its general purpose and the policy behind it. We are mindful that statutes must be interpreted so as to give a reasonable and common sense construction, a construction that is practical rather than technical and will lead to wise policy rather than mischief or absurdity. So if these judicial statements explain the approach taken by our state courts, does the judicial branch need to be told to liberally construe a statute in order to effectuate its purposes? Both federal and state statutes and even federal regulations contain these types of declaratory statements. For example, the federal RICO statute contains the following. It shall be liberally construed to effectuate its remedial purpose. Even some federal regulations contain guidance such as these rules and regulations shall be liberally construed to effectuate the purpose and provisions of this act. I also have some examples taken from California statutes. For example, Code of Civil Procedure Section 452 says, in the construction of a pleading, for the purpose of determining its effect, its allegations must be liberally construed with a view to substantial justice. Streets and Highways Code Section 31518 provides this part shall be liberally construed. Government Code Section 38001 says this chapter shall be liberally construed to promote its objectives. And Financial Code Section 31001 says this division shall be liberally construed to accomplish its purposes. Now, do state courts have to accept these statements of legislative intent? No, but they're more often than not cited by the courts to support their interpretation of what the legislature intended when the courts are interpreting these particular statutes.